After using the reduced troops, increased cooking stove strategy, Zhuge Liang safely withdrew back to Hanzhong. Sima Yi feared an ambush and did not dare pursue, so the Shu army escaped almost without losses. Back in Chengdu, Zhuge Liang questioned Emperor Liu Shan about the sudden recall order. Liu Shan awkwardly claimed he simply missed the chancellor, but Zhuge Liang immediately realized court officials had been spreading slander against him. Eventually Liu Shan admitted he had listened to palace eunuchs. Zhuge Liang investigated and discovered the rumors came from Goan, who had already fled to Wei. Zhuge Liang executed the corrupt eunuchs involved and harshly criticized Jiang Wan and Fei Yi for failing to stop the situation earlier. Zhuge Liang soon returned to Hanzhong and prepared another northern expedition. Yang Yi suggested rotating the army in 2 shifts so soldiers would not become exhausted during long campaigns. Zhuge Liang approved the idea and officially ordered troop rotations every 100 days. In the 9th year of Jianxing, Zhuge Liang launched another campaign northward. Meanwhile, Wei Emperor Qiao Rui ordered Sima Yi to lead the defense. Sima Yi appointed Zhang He as vanguard commander, while Guohuai guarded Longxi. Scouts soon reported that Zhuge Liang was advancing toward Qishan, and likely intended to harvest Longxi wheat for military supplies. Sima Yi immediately prepared defenses around the region. When Zhuge Liang reached Qishan, he realized Wei forces were already waiting. Since Shu supplies were delayed by Li Yan, Zhuge Liang personally led troops into Longxi to harvest wheat. Along the way, he learned Sima Yi had predicted his plan. So Zhuge Liang used one of his strangest tricks. He prepared 3 identical 4-wheeled carts surrounded by men dressed like supernatural guards. Jiang Wei, Ma Dai, and Wei Yan each escorted 1 cart while drums thundered across the battlefield. The real Zhuge Liang sat inside one of the carts, calmly waving his feather fan. Wei scouts were terrified by the bizarre sight and rushed back to report to Sima Yi. Sima Yi personally came to inspect the scene. Yet no matter how hard Wei cavalry chased, they could never catch the carts. Then a second Zhuge Liang appeared, followed by a third. Unable to tell which was real, Sima Yi suspected some kind of sorcery and withdrew his troops. Meanwhile, Zhuge Liang had already harvested huge amounts of wheat and transported everything safely back to Luqing. For 3 days Sima Yi refused to leave the city. Later, captured Shu soldiers revealed that the fake Zhuge Liangs had actually been Jiang Wei, Ma Dai, and Wei Yan in disguise. Guohuai then suggested attacking Luqing while Shu troops were busy drying wheat. Sima Yi agreed and launched a night attack. But Zhuge Liang had predicted everything. He secretly placed ambushes in all directions. When the Wei army surrounded the city, fires suddenly erupted everywhere, and Shu forces attacked from all sides. The gates of Luqing burst open as additional Shu troops charged out. The Wei army collapsed into chaos. Sima Yi barely escaped while Guohuai retreated in defeat. Afterward, Guohuai proposed attacking Jianji Pass to cut Shu's retreat route and supply lines. Sima Yi agreed, but Zhuge Liang had already stationed Jiang Wei and Ma Dai there in advance. At the same time, Yang Yi reminded Zhuge Liang that 40,000 soldiers had reached the end of their rotation period and should return home. Even when news arrived that massive Wei reinforcements were approaching, Zhuge Liang still refused to break his promise. "The foundation of leadership is trust," he said. "I cannot force soldiers to stay after already promising they could return home." The soldiers were deeply moved and volunteered to remain and fight. The exhausted Xiliang reinforcements arrived after a long march and were immediately attacked by Shu forces before they could establish camp. Inspired by Zhuge Liang's leadership, the Shu army fought fiercely and crushed the Wei reinforcements. Soon after, however, Zhuge Liang received an urgent message from Li Yan claiming Eastern Wu might ally with Wei and attack Shu. Fearing danger on two fronts, Zhuge Liang reluctantly ordered a withdrawal. Even then, Sima Yi hesitated to pursue. But Zhang He insisted this was the perfect opportunity and repeatedly requested permission to chase the retreating Shu army. Sima Yi warned him that Zhuge Liang surely had ambushes prepared in the mountains, but Zhang He ignored the warnings. Along the retreat route, Wei Yan and Guanxing repeatedly appeared to challenge Wei forces before pretending to flee deeper into the mountains. They even abandoned supplies and armor to lure the enemy forward. By the time Zhang He chased them into Mumen Trail, night had fallen. Suddenly, cannon fire echoed through the valley. Huge rocks and logs crashed down, sealing the road. Then arrows rained from both sides. Zhang He and many officers were killed inside the ambush. Standing atop the mountain in the firelight, Zhuge Liang shouted, "Today I wished to shoot a horse, but struck only a deer." He meant he had hoped to kill Sima Yi, but only managed to kill Zhang He instead. Sima Yi later blamed himself deeply for Zhang He's death. After returning to Hanzhong, Zhuge Liang learned that Li Yan had falsely reported to the emperor that supplies were fully prepared, and that Zhuge Liang had withdrawn without reason. The truth was that Li Yan had failed to provide provisions and sent fake military reports to hide his own mistakes. Zhuge Liang was furious and wanted Li Yan executed. But after Fei Yi pleaded for mercy, Li Yan was stripped of rank and exiled instead. Zhuge Liang then returned to Chengdu to rebuild the army, store grain, forge weapons, and prepare for future campaigns. 3 years later, in the 12th year of Jianxing, Zhuge Liang once again requested permission for another northern expedition. Lu Shan questioned why Shu could not simply remain at peace now that the three kingdoms were stable. But Zhuge Liang replied that restoring the Han dynasty had always been his life's mission, and the promise he made to the late emperor. At that moment, the minister Qiao Zhou suddenly stepped forward to oppose the campaign, foreshadowing future conflict within Shu's court. Summary. This chapter focuses on the strategic rivalry between Zhuge Liang and Sima Yi during the northern expeditions. The most memorable scene is Zhuge Liang's mysterious divine cart deception. By creating multiple fake versions of himself and filling the battlefield with an eerie atmosphere, he successfully frightened and confused Sima Yi long enough to harvest the wheat fields of Longxi. Later, Zhuge Liang used a fake retreat and layered ambushes to lure Zhang He into Mumen Trail, where the famous Wei general was killed. At the same time, the chapter also shows Shu Han's growing internal problems. Court eunuchs spread rumors against Zhuge Liang, while Li Yan's supply failures forced Shu to abandon an important campaign opportunity. Li Yan even tried to blame Zhuge Liang afterward to protect himself. Although Zhuge Liang remained completely loyal and devoted to restoring the Han dynasty, Lu Shan's weakness and the political instability inside Shu were gradually becoming the kingdom's greatest danger. Knowledge points. 1. Zhang He's death was heavily dramatized in the novel. Historically, the records of the Three Kingdoms simply states that Zhang He pursued the retreating Shu army into Mumen Trail and was killed by arrows during an ambush. 2. Guanxing had probably already died by this time. The novel still portrays him as actively fighting alongside Wei Yan, but historical records suggest he likely died before Zhuge Liang's later campaigns. 3. Sima Yi being frightened for 3 days was likely exaggerated. The novel often portrays him as constantly outplayed by Zhuge Liang, but historically Sima Yi was highly skilled at defensive warfare and attrition tactics. In the long run, he ultimately succeeded in exhausting Shu Han's military strength.